Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be talking about some common self-tan mistakes I feel like a lot of people tend to make that really can be affecting the way your self-tan is applying. I have been through lots of different self-tanners, lots of different self-tan techniques. So I've been through a lot of it, a lot of the bad, the good, the ugly. So I thought it would be fun to share just some self-tan mistakes that I have personally made that other people have said that they've made as well, so that maybe I can help prevent some of those. So before we get started, please give this a big thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. Join the fam. Do not miss out on 3 videos a week, so please make sure to subscribe. But if you want to hear what some of, in my opinion, the most common self-tan mistakes are, stay tuned for the rest of the video. Okay, we are just gonna jump right in. Also, sorry for the mess behind me. We're finally getting to doing the baby nursery, and we are going to be cleaning like everything in there, mopping the floors, all the things before we bring everything in. So I have our nursery glider behind me that we just bought a couple of days ago, but we don't want to put it in there yet until the room is clean, and I have like the dresser for the room all packed up next to me as well. So it's very chaotic in this room right now, but this will be gone by the next video. So anyways, mistakes with self-tanning. Like I said, I've been self-tanning for literally as long as I could remember, so I've made probably every mistake in the book. These are just some of the most common ones that I feel like are very easy to be made and very easy to be fixed, to be honest. I'm gonna make a follow-up video to this one, probably will be posted next week, so make sure to subscribe so that you're tuned in for that when it comes. But I think I'll do some tips for self-tanning, and I'll show you guys some products that I feel like are essential to getting a good tan. So first mistake, not exfoliating. I know exfoliating can be very tedious, can be very annoying, and it's just not a fun task. I have self-tanned with exfoliating, without exfoliating, and if I'm being 100% honest with this one, you don't notice a huge difference, but you will notice a difference. I feel like my tan, it just looks so much more seamless when I do exfoliate. So that is one mistake that I really would say. Find either a really good exfoliating scrub or an exfoliating mitt just to get off some of that dead skin, some of that old self-tan, because you don't want to bring patchiness from your last self-tan into your new one. So that is a big one. Another one that I've never done, but I've heard a lot of other people say that they do, is shaving after tanning, which is so funny to me, but that's definitely a mistake if you do that. I feel like when you shave your legs, you want to do it ideally the day before. I've done it the day of and I haven't had any issues, as long as there's like enough time in between where your pores aren't still open. But shaving before creates like a perfect smooth canvas for the self-tan to go on. If you're shaving after you self-tan, you're literally removing all of that hard work and perfection that you put into that self-tan. So I would say don't do that. Also, pedicures after self-tanning, don't do that either, because if they're scrubbing your legs up like crazy, obviously some of that color is gonna come off. So keep that in mind. That is a big one. Not applying enough moisturizer. I know this one may be controversial because there's people out there that will tell you don't apply any kind of moisturizer before self-tanning. I'm fully against that. I've done it both ways, and I feel like if certain parts of your body are very dry before you apply self-tanner, it's not gonna look good. It's gonna be a dead giveaway that you have self-tanner on. It's just gonna look very fake, especially your feet, ankles, knees, elbows, and your hands. I feel like your hands are the #1 place, because if you apply too much on your hands, or if your hands are dry and self-tanner is clinging to them, immediately you'll know that there's self-tanner on you. Like, I feel like me, when I'm applying self-tanner, I want it to look as natural as possible, and I've made this mistake too many times to count. So I am of course wanting to help you guys with this to learn from my mistakes, but applying extra moisturizer in those areas that I mentioned, your feet, ankles, knees, elbows, and hands, really, really helps to create a more perfected, seamless tan, especially your hands. And the other thing that I would say is don't wait too long to wash your hands after applying a self-tanner. So whether it is a express self-tan or an overnight self-tan, I wash my hands after 30 minutes, regardless of what it is. And that is like the sweet spot for me to create the perfect tan look on my hands. I never leave it on more than 30 minutes unless it's an accident, and I always pay for it when it happens. But I would definitely say do not forget to apply extra moisturizer on those areas. I don't go crazy heavy. Like, you don't want it to be where you see moisturizer, like white moisturizer or whatever color it is that you're using on your hands. Like, you want to get a good coat of it in those areas, but you don't want it to be too much either, if that makes sense. So just make sure to not apply moisturizer to those areas. That's probably one of my biggest tips for you. And also the not waiting too long to wash your hands after applying self-tanner. Like I said, I don't care what self-tanner you have on. Give it 30 minutes, wash your hands. I'll do it with soap, to be honest, and I still have a perfect tan on my hands afterwards. Next up is not moisturizing throughout the week. I know that that's also a daunting task. I know it's annoying to like slather yourself all the time in moisturizer. I hate doing it too, but especially now that I'm pregnant, I'm trying to do that anyways to try to prevent stretch marks. But it's really helped me with the look of my tan throughout the week as well, to keep my skin moisturized, because when your skin is dry, the self-tan starts to look like cracky and patchy, and it just doesn't look right. So not moisturizing your skin enough and not keeping up with your skincare after applying the tan will definitely affect the longevity of it and just the way that it fades. And it's not cute when it fades super patchy and it starts to crack. It's just not fun. The next tip is listen to the instructions on whatever self-tanner you're using for length of use. Like, if it tells you to keep it on 3 hours, keep it on 3 hours. If it tells you to keep it on 8 hours, keep it on 8 hours. If it says you could sleep on it overnight, do that. Just don't wear a self-tanner for too long, because you think it's gonna get you like this crazy, insane, dark result. Maybe it might get you a little bit darker, but it will definitely fade patchier and splotchier. So try not to keep a self-tanner on for way too long. You don't want it to overdevelop, and you don't want it to get cracky and patchy on your skin throughout the week. So keep that in mind. Next up is not waiting long enough before getting dressed. You want to make sure that you're letting your tan dry on your body, at least the majority of it, before you get dressed, because you don't want to take away again from what you have just applied to your body. Like, you could kind of feel when the self-tanner is still not dry, not ready to get dressed, because it's sticky, it feels wet, it feels gross. So if you can, just stand there in the bathroom or wherever you're applying for a couple extra minutes just to let it do its thing, and then you could go ahead and get dressed. If you're not someone that likes to wait, get a self-tanner that is a quicker drying option so that you don't have to deal with that issue. There's so many good ones out there, and I'll recommend some really good products in my next video for tips. But that's a big one. Just make sure that you're letting the self-tanner dry properly before you get dressed. Next is the application technique. So I always apply with a mitt. I feel like it looks the best that way, but I'm always applying in a circular motion, and I'm really making sure to get in there and blend it and not leave any streaky areas on my skin, because that will translate the next day into a streaky tan. So I would say apply in a circular motion and make sure that everything is blended as much as you possibly can before you let it dry down on your skin, and that will give you the best kind of smooth application and seamless tan and won't leave you looking and feeling streaky the next day. But those are all my mistakes that I could think of off the top of my head. I kept looking down, as you could see. I had some notes taken down because I didn't want to forget anything, but I'm sure I may have forgotten a mistake or two. Like I said, I have gone through this very many times and I've made plenty of mistakes throughout the years of tanning, so learn from me. It's all trial and error, but it's meant to be fun. We're meant to learn from it, and that's how you get the perfect tan at the end of the day, right? So that is all I've got, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, next week's video will be some tips, and I'll share some products that I'm loving for applying and all that fun stuff. So make sure that you're tuned for next week's, I don't want to say episode, but I guess next week's episode, which will be tips on getting a great self-tan. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know what else you want to see from me. Give this a huge thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel, but stay tuned and I will see you guys in the next video.